Can you imagine desiring your partner only to be rejected by them? Would you assume they lack love for you, wait for the right moment for both of you, or simply walk away? Next, let's move on to the complete recap of My Hot Sexless Lover. Mizukawa is a middle-aged young lady who resigned from her official job to start a new business with her friends. Some weeks after she starts, she is in bed with a younger boy, Arima, and when she wakes up, she is in shock, wondering if they have gone that deep or didn't do anything. You may wonder how she had found herself in this weird situation. About a week ago, after she resigned and decided to start a new painting company with her friends, they needed a workstation to work, and her friend took her to a new workstation. Immediately she enters, her eyes lock with Arima, but she doesn't overthink about him. Her friend Miori shares the card they will give their clients, and they meet another freelancer at the workstation, Sato. Upon introducing themselves to Sato, Miori goes to meet the other freelancers so they can link up. She shows them their works, and they advise that you need good pictures to prosper in that industry. They tell them that Arima is a photographer, and he does so greatly. Regardless, the new team finds a sauna at the workstation, and this seems like a shock because whoever works and plays simultaneously, regardless, goes there and plays. After finishing, Miori concludes that she has decided to not only work herself to death but also find love. The boys also enter the sauna and play. They talk about the convenience of the work, but Mizukawa claims that when she was at official work, she preferred working at a stretch rather than working and playing. They do not have the same beliefs as her, and the atmosphere gets tense, so she leaves and sits outside. Arima comes to meet her, claiming he enjoyed what she said, but she has the same opinion. That is the beginning of our new love story between Mizukawa and Arima. They talk, they laugh, and before ending the day, she asks him about his age and finds out he is 25 years old, which means he is younger. She decides she can make do with a bit of flirting here and there, and as time goes on, they start chatting, and his messages bring smiles to her face. He meets her at work again and wonders if he comes there severally, but he says recently that he started coming every day. She knows it's because of her, and that is what feels better. He asks her on a date, and they go out the next day. After 2 months, they go out and begin an official relationship. However, he never attempted to kiss her for the first 2 months. She tells Miori this and wonders why, saying younger boys are more interested in that. One night, he has an early morning shoot at the workstation and lives far off. She offers that he spend the night at her place, and he accepts her offer. After he takes his bath and she does the same, they sit, and she asks him if he wants to kiss. She goes nearer to him to kiss him, but he quickly stands up, saying he wants to sleep. He tells her to come to the bed, and he holds her tightly, which makes her wonder what the hell is going on. Despite how she feels, he doesn't do anything with her, he just holds her, and they sleep. She wakes up annoyed and wondering if he has someone else with whom he is in a relationship. To make matters worse, for the next few weeks, he doesn't reach out to her as much as usual, and she starts feeling very bad about the entire situation. As usual, she informs Miori, who remains so persistent that he has another lady. She claims he is a young man, and a very young man wants to get intimate, so if he doesn't like it, then he is getting it from someone else. He calls her so they can go to a resort. He reveals that he had been working on the resort's opening for a while, so he didn't have time for her. The wife of the resort's owner, Saki, attends to them. They enter the room, and she plans to use the vacation to get closer to Arima and help him understand her. Suddenly, she sees a message from a lady on his phone. The lady, Hitomi, tells him she wants to see him again and deletes the message. She feels so wrong about this, and when Arima enters, he excuses himself to check the message, which makes her suspicious. They go out to eat, and she meets the owner of the resort, Kigo, who turns out to be her ex-boyfriend and her senior in college. When Saki comes, Kigo introduces Mizukawa as his ex-girlfriend's friend, Rei, making her wonder what is happening. After the weird meeting, Arima figures there is something between Kigo and Mizukawa. He asks her, and usually, she could have denied it, but because she feels he is also cheating, she admits that he is her ex, and they stay together for 5 years. She hugs Arima, but he remains odd to her. Heartbroken, she goes outside and sits with Kigo, who tells her his wife knows about her already. She also tells him that Arima has already clicked them, and she complains to him in tears about how Arima is behaving towards her. One thing she can't deny about Arima is that despite not wanting to be intimate with her, he treats her with respect and holds her in high esteem, which makes her feel she shouldn't be too much in her hurry to throw him away. Kigo advises her to talk with him, and she decides to do that, so she runs into the room and sees he is about to have his bath. She asks to bathe with him, and he accepts. They enter the water together, and she tells him she doesn't want to be just a girlfriend. She wants him to reveal himself and get to know her well. He admits that he also wants to know her well and reveals that he got jealous when he found out Kigo knew her so well and barely knew anything about her. He tells her to stop being insecure as he isn't interested in any other lady except her. He goes nearer to her to touch her, but they hear a knock. The visitor is Hitomi, and she apologizes to Arima for pushing him the last time. When Mizukawa hears that, her interest is piqued, and Hitomi notices her. Hitomi goes to meet her, telling her she also wants to be intimate with Arima. This makes Mizukawa jump out of the water naked, and Arima quickly turns his eyes away. She quickly dresses up, sits, and listens to the conversation between Arima and Hitomi. She is angry that on her first vacation with her boyfriend, a strange lady meddles in her life. Arima asks Hitomi why she came, and says she has come to apologize for pushing him down the last time. She says she misses him and wants to be intimate, but the conversation angers Mizukawa. Hitomi asks Arima if he has been intimate with Mizukawa, and they can't answer, so Hitomi laughs and says it means she still has the upper hand. Arima immediately replies that he likes Mizukawa and wants to be with her, so she has no chance. While the statement breeds hope for Mizukawa, when she tells Miori, Miori tells her that she has to have a conversation with Hitomi to know precisely what is happening because men like that can't be trusted. Returning to the workstation, she is shocked to see Hitomi as Arima takes pictures of her. After the picture, Hitomi comes to meet Mizukawa, and she needs to have a conversation with her. Mizukawa and Miori go to her house. They decide to ask each other a question, and Hitomi asks if the relationship with Arima is serious. She says that she has been in love with Arima since her college days, and he had intercourse with her once, and she looks forward to having intercourse with him again. Seeing that he had done something with Hitomi and not with her makes Mizukawa feel bad. She meets Arima and confronts him about why he remains friends with someone he has done something with, and he even goes as far as taking her pictures. She claims it is unfair, but Arima doesn't see any issue in his actions and sees no reason why he should apologize. However, Mizukawa tells him to deal with himself first before wanting to proceed with her. As a result, he goes to meet Hitomi and tells her that he likes Arima and doesn't want to hurt her, so he wants to leave Hitomi. Hitomi cries to draw him back, but he isn't shaken about that. He returns to the workstation to find Mizukawa, but they tell her she has left. One of their colleagues, Okochi, asks him if their relationship is going well, as he thinks Mizukawa looks anxious. Arima admits they are having issues, and the guy asks if they have been intimate. Arima voices out, asking why they must be intimate, saying he doesn't want to do things like that. The boy asks him what he will do if Mizukawa wants it. He insists he likes Mizukawa and doesn't want to lose his relationship with her. On the other hand, Hitomi hangs out with Mizukawa and Miori in tears. She tells them about how she wanted Arima for the best of her life and how disappointed she was now. After the meeting, Mizukawa finds Arima. She tells him she has thought about their situation for a while, and he says the same. He goes to hug her, asking her if she wants to spend the night with him, and she says yes. She tells him she will spend the night talking with him. He is shocked since he knows she wants intercourse, so she tells him she has decided that she will stop thinking about that and get to know him for who he is. They spend the night together that evening, and she dreams he is on her when she wakes up. She wonders why he had that dream about him and knows that the lust she has for him can't be suppressed. They go out together the next day and meet a future teller who talks about their compatibility, even though she doesn't believe that. Upon leaving, Arima tells her he has to stay with her for about a week. She is excited that she will get to stay with him, but she doesn't know how long she can hold on to her emotions for him. She meets Miori and Okochi, her male colleague, again, and Miori insists that there is no reason why she is in a relationship without intimacy. It is even much better if she is alone. They leave her to make her decision. When Arima gets to her house, he hugs her from behind, telling her that if she needs him to have intimacy with her, she can tell him. They return to the workstation the next day, and Okochi and Miori keep looking at them as they play because they believe there is no reason why they are in love without touching themselves. Later, Okochi meets Arima again, asking him if he has done something regarding his intimacy with Mizukawa. Arima insists intimacy isn't the only reason a person is in a relationship, and he can't be bothered. Hence, Okochi asks him if he will be fine if Mizukawa gets her pleasure from another man. He says that women have emotions too, and Arima can't keep punishing her. When Arima gets home, he has an Indian-themed dinner with Mizukawa. During the dinner, he asks to kiss her, but the entire kiss feels so weird that she isn't feeling him at all. She wonders if she has done wrong with the kiss but can't even decide, so she finds a way to excuse herself. She leaves the house, claiming she wants a burger without telling him. When she goes out, she sees several couples holding themselves and romancing. She feels terrible that she can't do all that with the person she loves. She goes to the workstation rooftop to cry. When Arima notices that she isn't inside the house, he immediately goes to find her. Okochi sees Mizukawa at the workstation and immediately knows about her worries. She cries and complains to him, so he goes nearer to her and kisses her lips, which she reciprocates. Meanwhile, Arima has arrived at the scene. Let me take you some seconds to the back. During the kiss between Arima and Mizukawa, he paused, and she asked him if he wanted it again, and he suddenly said, "Wasn't it?" She wondered what he could have meant by that, and if it meant the kiss she had with him, wasn't it? On the other hand, he goes to the restroom thinking he kissed her lamely, which is why she says, "Again." In those thoughts, he comes out and sees her kissing Okochi. His first thought is that she must have had a reason, but what reason can she have to kiss a friend? Meanwhile, when Mizukawa gets control of herself, she pushes Okochi away, asking him why he would take advantage of her in that situation. She goes to the bar to rant and complain to Miori and Hitomi. She wonders if Arima said, "Wasn't it?" because she was old, and her lips were old. She remains that she wants intimacy with him, and Miori asks him what she thinks about Okochi too, but she insists what she had with Okochi was just a mistake and the only person she wants to get intimate with is Arima. Unfortunately, Miori has booked Arima for their shoot the next day, so she is to face an awkward day of the shoot with both Arima and Okochi. While they shoot, she tells Arima she is glad his house has been repaired and he is going. She wishes she had watched the show, but they should have watched the day before, so he offered to come to her place that evening. She refused and rescheduled for the following day. When she sees Okochi and Arima talking, Miori teases her, asking her if she thinks they are fighting about her and telling her that if she wants to be intimate, she shouldn't feel bad about it and should just communicate. They dispatch and leave, and while Miori goes with Arima, Okochi goes with Mizukawa. Before leaving, Miori asks Okochi what it is with Mizukawa, saying that she is sure Okochi won't kiss someone he doesn't like. On their way, Okochi apologizes to Mizukawa, who accepts his apology. He asks her if he could come to see her that night, and she just accepts. On the other hand, Miori meets Arima and talks about the kiss. Arima claims it was a lame one, but Miori says it doesn't matter, and he could have proceeded to get intimate with her. She tells him that intimacy is communication and the best way to talk to a lover. Deciding to do better, Arima texts Mizukawa to see her at home. Before she checks the text, he sees Okochi is in her house, so he unsends the message. He sees her later, and she tells him why he said what he said during the kiss and why he doesn't want to be intimate with her. He asks her if she thinks the only way to show love is by being intimate, and if she loves the Okochi she has kissed. She realizes he has seen her, and she still doesn't take control of the situation well, thereby making it worse. He gets pissed at her telling her he thought he could be with her without having to be disturbed by things like that, but since all she wants is intimacy, she should go to meet Okochi. He walks out, and as she thinks about what has happened, Okochi comes in and announces that he is in love with her. What should she do? He continues and says he wants to get intimate with her. She walks him out of her house as he tells her that he doesn't want a one-night stand because he isn't the kind of person who did that before, but he just wants to be with her, and they can be intimate too. She reveals to him that she was dumped that day, too. However, she doesn't want to give up on that love yet. When she returns to the workstation, she finds out from their colleagues that Arima has traveled. He posts a picture of an island on his Instagram, and she can't reach out to him. When Miori comes, she narrates everything that has happened to Miori, and when Miori realizes she has been dumped, she opens an account for her on a love platform so she can find a man who will satisfy her for the night. She meets the man at the hotel, and the man touches her in the right places. She thinks she can't feel good with a man she isn't in a relationship with, but this is magic. She feels great with him, and it makes so much sense. However, she gets to her senses, telling the man that she wants to try to sort out her issue with her boyfriend, but if she fails, she will call him back. Unfortunately, she finds out that Arima has resigned from their workstation. Arima hasn't contacted her for several months, nor has he tried to call her. She tries to get used to life without him. On her birthday, Okochi takes her out on a date. As she eats, he brings out a card and reveals to her that he had booked a room for them to give intimacy a trial. He says he realized that he likes her, and when he found out her relationship had ended, he decided to make her happy. He wants her to be his girlfriend so that she can get a full package, including intimacy. She admits that she likes him but tells him the only person she is in love with is Arima, and she would sort out things with him before moving forward. Disappointed, Okochi goes to the hotel room he had decorated. Miori comes to meet him there, and he reveals to Miori that he has been dumped. Trying to make him feel better, Miori offers to drink with him, and they begin to drink. While Mizukawa walks around aimlessly, she suddenly sees Arima. She doesn't even know how to open up to him as he has hurt her a lot. She asks him why he had left her for several years without giving her a reason, but he claims it wasn't intentional and that he had been trying to find a way to make things work between them. All he is saying doesn't make any sense to her. He claims he has been thinking about her and how to love her better. Suddenly, He kneels in front of her and proposes to her, asking her to marry him. She is shocked. The same man who left her months ago without a word is back to her with a ring, and she doesn't know how to consider the situation. On the other hand, a little moment of drinking between Okochi and Miori ends in bed, and the two of them have one of the sweetest romances you have ever watched. He tells her he knows that he could have missed his chances, and she could have accepted Okochi, and they may be intimate already, but no matter how bad it seems, he wants to try it. She immediately reveals that she had flatly rejected Okochi and had nothing with him. He is so excited to learn about that he says everything looked like her since he left her. He looked for her at every store in every city, he always wanted to be with her. While she knew it was just the same with her, she couldn't tell him that. He declares that when he misses her, he decides he should spend the rest of his life with her, and he tells his mother about it. She collects the ring, and they hug. She goes to the workstation the next day, and Okochi comes there weirdly and asks about Miori. During their work that day, Okochi and Miori behaved very weirdly because of their last 8 encounters, and they couldn't even tell Mizukawa about it. Mizukawa assumes it is because of the way she rejected Okochi the night before. Hence, she tells Miori that Okochi had asked her out, and rejected him, so Miori should try not to bring her and Okochi together when they work. She also shares the good news of her engagement with Miori, who asks her what she wants to do with the fact that they can't get intimate. She says she wants Arima more than she wants intimacy, so she will prefer outsourcing the part of intimacy. Miori wishes her well as she goes with Arima to meet his mother. On their way, Arima tells her that his father had died a long time ago, and since then, it has been his mother taking care of him. He talks about how cool his father was, too. Mizukawa meets with Arima's mother, Michin. Michin tells her she looks good, and when Arima is away, Michin asks who asked the other out. She tells her it was Arima who liked her first, but she feels so glad that a person like Arima can fall in love with her. Michin tells her Arima isn't that great, and he has only kept pretending that he is cool because everyone expects him to be cool, and he doesn't want to disappoint them. She tells her that all the students wanted Arima to be good at sports when he was in school but couldn't run. As a result, he tried to train at home, but the pressure of coming out of being cool to others was too much on him. He didn't want to disappoint them, so he became a sports commentator. Arima arrives and overhears their conversation. Michin tells Mizukawa that she doesn't wish Mizukawa to see Arima as that cool a child, but she should know that for Arima to come and tell her that she wants to marry, it means Arima is ready to take the step, and they will be fine. Arima comes out, and they see Michin off. Before leaving, Mizukawa promises Michin that she will take care of Arima. On their way home, Arima admits to Mizukawa that he isn't the cool kid people think. He doesn't want to be intimate with her because he thinks she won't enjoy it, and he sees it as stress. He feels she has many expectations for him over there, and he doesn't want to disappoint her. He asks if she will spend the night with him that day, and she accepts. On her way home, she has planned that they will just have fun and she won't stress him about being intimate. However, when they get home, he proceeds to kiss her and starts making out with her, which surprises her. She isn't ready for that kind of commitment, and she just hopes he will get control of himself and stop, but he doesn't. Suddenly, she feels signs, and she goes to the restroom and finds out that she has started her period. She is glad that the universe saved her from that intimacy. She meets Miori and Okochi the next day and tells them what happened. Miori tells her that she doesn't have to force herself to hate intimacy as it is just her desire. She also notices that Okochi has become very dull at work. She asks him if it is because she rejected him and says they could still be friends. This makes Miori reveal what she had done with Okochi to her, but she says it was just a flirt and not a big deal. When Mizukawa gets home, she tells Arima, who is shocked too. He hugs her and asks if he could stay the night with her, but she refuses even though she doesn't know why she refused. While navigating her feelings, Arima meets Okochi and says what he has heard. He asks Okochi if he is in love with Miori, but he doesn't think so, as Miori doesn't take the intimacy sincerely. However, he admits that making out with her was the best he had ever done, as it was as if she had met him in the middle, and they had enjoyed it. Arima is shocked at the discovery that intimacy can be that awesome. He goes with Mizukawa to a studio belonging to Isaka, a photographer he had admired from afar. Mizukawa insists they should meet Isaka, and he should say how he feels about Isaka's works. Mizukawa takes him to the man, and he appreciates his work. He also tells Isaka that he is a photographer, and Isaka asks to see his work. When he sees it, Isaka says there isn't passion in his work. He asks him if he is doing photography because he loves it, and says he can't see the love. He offered him a side gig as a photographer at a studio, and when he started working, some of the clients even left. He shows Isaka the pictures, and Isaka says the same thing. He says that Arima's works are static because he isn't connecting with the objects he is taking. He lacks the feeling of love, and if he doesn't love what he is doing, he can't take the expression of love in photos. Trying to work on himself, he starts relating to the other coworkers at the workstation and takes pictures of them. The images are lighter than the ones he had taken before, and they indeed show the feeling of love. He shows Mizukawa at home and admits to her that he doesn't know what love is, but he thinks he has changed and now understands emotions. He tells her how she feels he has changed her. He also feels she has changed him. They kiss and proceed to have their first intimacy. They have intercourse for more than 3 hours, and she feels so much more agile than she had ever felt before. She tells him she would like them to think that tension more, and he tells her he feels hard, too, so it can work. She takes that excitement and joy straight to work, brings the idea that they should have an exhibition, and even plans who they should invite. Her colleagues wonder what has changed in her, and she breaks the good news of her breakthrough. They are all excited for her, but Miori advises her to be careful. If not, she will fall into the flowers and may not enjoy it again. On the other hand, Dorama also takes the excitement to his photography. Isaka now sees passion and emotions in his pictures and tells him that he intends to make a photo book containing images of several people, and he wants Arima to be his assistant. Arima is glad about this until Isaka tells him they have to travel around for about a year to get the pictures, but Arima says she can't take them. He says he wants to get married and doesn't want to leave his wife for a second, so he can't travel abroad without her. Hitomi was at the door, and she heard this. They all attended Mizukawa's exhibition, and the exhibition ended well. After the exhibition, Arima discovers that Hitomi and Mizukawa are now friends. Hitomi talks about the weird friendship between Miori and Okochi, where Okochi had promised he wouldn't get intimate with Miori again until she loved him. Miori says they are no longer in a world of choice where a person is to pick between money and love, and in this world, you have to take both and manage them. Hitomi replies that it isn't the case for Arima, as he has just rejected a great gig to be with Mizukawa. When Mizukawa hears, she confronts Arima at home and tells him he should have told her about it before doing so. She insists she wants him to take the job, and if he thinks long-distance relationships won't be good for them, they should get married to have more security. They proceed to get married, and he travels. Some months later, Miori comes to tell Mizukawa about Polynesia intimacy, a type of intercourse with loads of foreplay. Arima is returning 3 months later, and Mizukawa leaves work very early to meet with him. Miori tries to get intimate with Okochi again, but he insists he won't do much unless she falls in love with him. She tells him she can't, but he reminds her he has changed too, so she should change. The lovers meet by the door and hug passionately. Mizukawa goes to clean up. She has done laser, and she hopes for her Polynesia intimacy, but she is shocked to see that Arima is asleep when she gets back. She reluctantly sleeps beside him, and he hugs and touches her as the series ends. If you enjoyed our recap, subscribe, leave a comment, give us a like, and check out our channel where you'll find stories that might interest you.